Hi MMA fans, and welcome to another MMA fighting video. If one could imagine what a Viking leader looked like, Brock Lesnar might be the first picture coming to our mind. Being 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighing 290 pounds, with a sword tattoo on his chest, a stare of a natural predator, and being jacked up from toe to top, Brock was a force that was terrorizing the heavyweight division in the late 2000s. He wasn't much of a striker, but his wrestling credentials, strength, and power were enough to bring fear into each of his opponent's eyes. Brock looked like the Incredible Hulk on steroids. Getting in the octagon against him almost felt like falling into the cage of a silverback gorilla. His style was built purely on intimidation and charging forward, taking the opponents down and destroying them with ground and pound. In this video, we will count the 10 times Brock Lesnar shocked the MMA world. But before that, please make sure to like and subscribe because it helps our channel grow. 10. Transition to MMA. It came as a shock to many when Brock decided to test his skills in MMA in 2007. Why would he risk his health when he was a very successful WWE star? Improvising under a scripted scenario when nobody gets hurt is different than facing a trained killer eager to take your head off. However, Brock was a legit wrestler who competed in collegiate wrestling for the University of Minnesota, winning the NCAA Division I National Championship in 2000. Since wrestling is one of the key foundations of MMA, Brock could now display the superiority of this martial art in an MMA cage. The K1 finalist and Olympic judo silver medalist, Kim Min-soo, was the fighter to welcome Lesnar to MMA. The Korean fighter will be no match for the strong wrestler who landed a heavy beating on him, forcing Kim to tap to strikes. Tapping to a submission is one thing, but tapping to strikes only showed just how much power Brock possesses in his hands. He proved to the world that he wasn't only a WWE wrestler, but also an elite martial artist. 9. The Destruction of Frank Mir. Brock Lesnar was not afraid to step up to competition and fight the best UFC fighters in the world at the time. A concrete example of that was his fight against Frank Mir. When someone transitions to MMA, they usually have a few fights against lesser opponents that would be stepping stones before moving to the big leagues. Unlike the rest, Brock did not want to waste any time and agreed to face the submission wizard and former champion, Frank Mir, in his second MMA appearance. Unfortunately for him, the referee in that bout was Steve Mazzagatti, who accused Brock of landing an illegal punch in the back of the head and even deducted a point from him. Mir could recompose himself and defeat Brock by submission when the action continued. Nevertheless, due to all the controversy around this fight, these two met again in a rematch. Brock Lesnar entered that fight like a man on a mission, eager to prove who the better fighter is. Sure enough, he shocked the world by destroying Mir with heavy ground and pound punches against the cage, proving to the world that he is an elite martial artist who can compete against the best. 8. The Chicken Sellout comment. During season 13 of The Ultimate Fighter, Brock Lesnar's motivational phrase shocked some team members the wrong way. As one of the coaches on the show, Brock made a crazy comment, basically calling the young participants chicken shit. Some participants of the show found that statement insulting and offensive, and this is what Tony Ferguson, one of TUF's competitors, had to say. "You know, it kinda got to me at first, and I think it kind of got to a lot of us. You know, I ain't no chicken shit. That's what I'm damn sure." Nevertheless, Lesnar gathered the participants to elaborate on his comment and told them what he actually meant. According to Brock, all those young fighters were just chicken shit before the show, and now they turned into something more, a chicken salad. He initially wanted to motivate them, indicating that they were lucky to be part of the show and that this was the opportunity of a lifetime for them. It turned out that he couldn't make the wronger choice of words. 7. The UFC 100 Octagon interview. After demolishing Frank Mir just moments ago, it was Brock's moment to share his thoughts in the octagon. Instead of commenting on the bout and sharing his thoughts on the fight, he chose to trash-talk Mir on the microphone. However, that was nothing compared to his shocking statement about the UFC's sponsor, the Bud Light beer. "I'm gonna drink a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me anything. You know how strict the UFC's policies are about their sponsors. Insulting your opponent is one thing, but disparaging the sponsors paying the company is entirely different." This comment shocked the UFC management, and shortly after, Brock apologized for his UFC 100 outburst. 6. The domination over Heath. As previously mentioned, Brock had a tough UFC start, and he wanted to prove that the loss by Frank Mir was only a fluke. At this point in his MMA career, many started questioning whether Brock's MMA transition was the right place for him, and this was a fight to determine that enigma. Brock was never afraid to face elite fighters, and in his third MMA fight, he faced Heath, a Pride veteran with over 40 MMA fights on his resume. After scoring an early knockdown in the first round, Brock charged at Herring like a tiger hunting prey, shocking the audience and making them jump from their seats. The WWE star continued punishing the Texas Crazy Horse, dominating him in the grappling department and beating him badly with ground and pound strikes. Lesnar was the superior fighter from the beginning until the final bell, winning via unanimous decision by 30-26 on all three judges' scorecards. 5. The first retirement. On December 30th, 2011, Brock met the former Strikeforce heavyweight champion Alistair Overeem in a fight between the biggest and the baddest, between a striker and a wrestler. It was like locking down two gorillas to fight in a cage, each weighing around 260 pounds of pure muscle. The fight started with Lesnar attempting a takedown, which is logical for the strong wrestler. However, Overeem was able to stop that, and he threw heavy body shots, landing clean on Lesnar's torso. Overeem's tactic to target the body slowed Brock down, and just moments later, Overeem threw a nasty kick to the liver, finishing the fight with punches. After this brutal loss, Brock Lesnar announced his retirement from MMA. This was a shock to MMA fans, considering that Brock was the undisputed UFC champion just a year before. Nevertheless, it will turn out that this was not Lesnar's final appearance in the octagon. If you like our video so far, please press the like button. 4. The return to MMA and the destruction of Mark Hunt. After the loss to Overeem, Lesnar was inactive for 5 years, and it seemed he closed the MMA door forever. One cannot afford to be inactive in this sport because other fighters are constantly growing and becoming better, and if you want to compete with the best, you must stay active no matter what. When everyone forgot about Brock and his UFC run, the WWE star made a shocking announcement about his return to the octagon and was scheduled to face Mark Hunt on July 9, 2016, at UFC 200. The true competitor in me is still alive and well, and I had to do this, Lesnar said, who did not want to be remembered from his last UFC appearance. Mark Hunt had a one-punch knockout power, and taking a fight against him was not a walk in the park. He was coming out of two great performances, shedding the lights of Bigfoot Silva and Frank Mir. While many thought that the long layoff would play a significant part in Brock's return, he proved his doubters wrong by dominating Hunt throughout the fight, securing a unanimous decision victory. He also was paid a UFC record $2.5 million purse. 3. Suspension and second retirement. Before the fight against Mark Hunt, Lesnar laughed it all off on a media conference call in response to a question about using steroids. "I've been dealing with that my entire life. What do you want me to say? I'm a white boy, and I'm jacked. Deal with it," Brock said, shocking the media. About a week after the fight against Hunt, it was revealed that Lesnar had tested positive for a banned substance in a pre-fighting drug test. Later, the Nevada Athletic Commission confirmed that Lesnar tested positive for the estrogen blocker clomiphene pre and after the fight. Due to violating the doping rules, Brock was suspended from fighting, and his victory against Mark Hunt was overruled as a no contest. The WWE star never fought after this, and in 2022, he shut all the questions about a possible return to MMA. That door is closed. "I'm too old," Lesnar confirmed. 2. The incredible toughness and endurance. On July 3, 2010, Lesnar faced the undefeated monster, Shane Carwin. Carwin was known for his exceptional knockout power, and his resume spoke for itself. Before the fight with Lesnar, he knocked every opponent he faced early in the first round. Not only did he possess unreal power in his hands, but he was also a good wrestler. If someone could cause Brock some trouble, that must have been Carwin. As the fight started, Shane knocked Lesnar down with heavy punches and followed him down to get the job done, while Brock was seriously hurt and went into a defensive mode. The most powerful puncher in the UFC then started throwing bombs at Lesnar's face, punishing him badly, and it looked like it was just a matter of time before referee Josh Rosenthal would stop the fight that would earn Carwin a TKO victory. However, the amount of heart, endurance, and toughness that Brock has shown was genuinely shocking. Although Shane hit him with everything he had, landing heavy punches from hell and trying to take Lesnar's head off, the WWE star was too tough, and surrendering was not an option. How Brock managed to survive that storm is truly shocking. As the second round started, Lesnar executed a takedown on the already tired opponent, adjusted himself, and got Shane into a deep arm triangle choke. Shane Carwin had no other option but to tap. With this victory, Lesnar showed the world that the amount of heart and endurance he possesses is genuinely incredible. 1. From WWE star to becoming a UFC champion. On November 15, 2008, in his only fourth MMA fight, Lesnar faced the UFC legend Randy Couture for the UFC Heavyweight Championship at UFC 91. Before this bout, Brock had already beaten Min-Soo Kim and Heath Herring, but none of them was on the level of Randy Couture. We are talking about championship material and an elite Greco-Roman wrestler whose grappling pressure is on another level. It was time for Brock to prove that he was a legit mixed martial artist, and a victory over Randy would have granted him that status. Sure enough, the WWE star delivered an incredible performance and made a statement that he has a power that nobody should be reckoning with. He stopped Couture's takedown attempts, outstruck him on the feet, and knocked him down in the second round. Brock did not waste any time, followed Randy on the ground, and finished him with punches that earned him a TKO victory and a UFC heavyweight belt. Brock shocked the world once again. The story of Lesnar, who started as a WWE star to become the baddest man on the planet, is genuinely remarkable. And what do you guys think? Do you consider Lesnar to be one of the best UFC heavyweight champions? How do you rate his UFC career? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you like to watch more content like this, please make sure to like and subscribe.